Opening. Welcome to our ultimate guide on how to create your own mushroom spawn at home using just a dishwasher and some popcorn kernels. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced mushroom cultivator, this method is a cost-effective and easy way to get started. So, grab your dishwasher and popcorn and let's begin our journey into the world of mushroom cultivation. Step 1. Sterilization. The first step in creating spawn jars with popcorn is to sterilize the popcorn kernels. To do this, fill your dishwasher with water and add the popcorn kernels. Run the dishwasher on a high heat setting to sterilize the kernels. This process will kill any bacteria or contaminants that may be present on the kernels. It's important to note that the dishwasher should be empty and cleaned before starting this process to avoid any contamination from detergent or food residue. Let the kernels cool down before the next step. You can also sterilize the kernels by boiling them in water for an hour or by using a pressure cooker set to 15 pounds per square inch for 45 minutes. Step 2. Inoculation. Once the kernels have cooled, you can inoculate them with mushroom spores or spawn. You can do this by using a sterile needle to inject the spores or spawn into the kernels, or by mixing the spores or spawn with the kernels in a sterile environment. To create a sterile environment, you can work with a flow hood, a glove box or a laminar flow, and make sure to wear sterile gloves and a face mask. Be sure to work in a clean and sterile environment to avoid contamination. It's important to use the correct amount of spores or spawn to inoculate the popcorn. Usually, 4 to 5 cc of spores or 1 to 2% of spawn per jar is recommended. Step 3. Jar preparation. Next, we'll prepare the jars for the spawn. Sterilize the jars and lids by boiling them for 20 to 30 minutes or by running them through the dishwasher on a high heat setting. Make sure to let them cool down before the next step. The jars should be washed and cleaned thoroughly before sterilizing them to avoid contamination. Once the jars and lids are sterilized, they are ready to be filled with the inoculated popcorn kernels. Step 4. Filling the jars. Take the sterilized jars and fill them with the inoculated popcorn kernels. Leave about 1 inch of headspace at the top of the jars. This will allow the mycelium to grow and expand without any pressure building up in the jar. Once the jars are filled, wipe the rims of the jars with a sterile alcohol swab to remove any possible contaminants and tighten the lids. Step 5. Incubation. Seal the jars with the lids and incubate them in a warm, dark place. The ideal incubation temperature for mushroom spawn is between 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. This will allow the mycelium to colonize the kernels and start growing. Wait for the kernels to fully colonize. This process can take anywhere from 7 to 14 days. You can check the progress of the colonization by gently shaking the jars or by observing the jars through the glass. Once the kernels are fully colonized, they are ready for the next step. Step 6. Spawn run. Once the kernels are fully colonized, they can be used as spawn to inoculate a bulk substrate. The spawn run, which is the process of colonizing the bulk substrate with mushroom mycelium, can take around 2 to 4 weeks. For this step, you can use a variety of substrates such as straw, sawdust, or compost. Make sure to use a bulk substrate that is appropriate for the mushroom species you are growing and to follow the correct ratio of spawn to substrate. Also, keep in mind that the bulk substrate should be sterilized or pasteurized before using it, to avoid contamination. This can be done by using a pressure cooker, an oven, or a microwave. Step 7. Fruiting. When the spawn run is complete, the mushrooms will begin to fruit. The fruiting conditions will vary depending on the species of mushroom you are cultivating. Make sure to provide the correct environment for the mushroom to fruit, such as the right temperature, humidity and light conditions. Each species of mushroom has its own specific requirements, so it's important to research and understand the needs of the mushroom you are growing. Once the mushrooms have grown to maturity, they are ready to be harvested and enjoyed. Closing. Congratulations! You've just learned how to create spawn jars with popcorn and a dishwasher. With a little patience and attention to detail, you can grow your own mushroom spawn at home and start cultivating your own mushrooms. Remember that mushroom cultivation is a fun and rewarding hobby, and you can experiment with different strains and substrates to find what works best for you. Thanks for watching and happy growing!